Hey everyone, let's talk about the alt-right as a movement for a little bit. I've had some of these ideas floating around in my head for a little while, and I want to make sure they get out there so that people can understand. There's a couple of hurdles that we need to jump over with this alternative right-wing movement that I don't think anyone has discussed yet, or at least I haven't seen it. So let's talk about that first. First of all, defeatism. Defeatism amongst the ranks of people who consider themselves alt-right, whether it's infiltrators or not. Allowing any form of defeatism within the movement is bad. Do not let the naysayers gain any power. Do not let people use them against us. Those who say, "Oh, we'll never have this. We'll never get any of this done. We'll never have any power." That kind of shit is not needed, especially not in the formative years that we're in right now. The first 5 to 10 years of any political movement are the most important. You're developing image. You're developing critical ideas for the foundation of your movement. And I believe it's critical to keep in mind that this is not a political party. This is simply an amalgamation of right-wing thought that is resurging forward with a focus on European identitarianism. So if I see someone online that I'm interacting with and they're a libertarian or a monarchist, as long as they're pro-identitarian for European peoples, then I am not afraid to call them a political ally. Because this movement ultimately is not about the politics or the economics per se. It's about the future existence of our people. Now, once we solidify this sort of racial consciousness amongst Europeans in the next generation or the generation after, then we can talk about what the politics are going to be. I know people are going to ask us questions about, okay, well, what's the policies of the ethno-state, or what's the economy of the ethno-state? And I tell them, don't engage with detractors. I mean, fully engage with people amongst yourself, but don't let it sow division. Two people who ultimately see the same goal, which is to unite the native populations of Europe together. Don't let these petty party politics divide us, because we have similar goals. It's just a matter of how we accomplish them. And these types of debates are better suited for political parties or sort of the first wave of political power, because you have to realize there are some older people who are part of the alternative right, but this is mainly a young generation. This is a young man's game, and we still have to deal with boomers and the Gen Yers, who are the ones who are in political power right now. Once they're ousted, once the millennials and the Gen, is it X maybe? I don't know. Gen Z, once the people who are 30 and below right now, once we take established political power, then will come the time for us to discuss exactly how we will run our societies, but the founding principles of which we need to talk about now. So what should you do as someone who's listening to this? What do I do to prepare for this? What do we need to do in the formative years of this political movement? Well, I'll give you my ideas. First and foremost, regardless of what the goals of the political movement are, as someone who subscribes to right-wing ideology, the first and primary motive for this should be self-improvement. We need to organize ourselves. We need to reinstitute natural hierarchy. We need to maintain traditions. So for everyone out there right now, your primary goal, if you're under the age of 30, you should eat right, exercise, and read. Those 3 key aspects of self-improvement should be your only focus right now until it becomes time to start a family. Now, if you do these 3 things, it becomes easier to start a family, because you'll be more attractive, more intelligent, you'll probably be making more money. This is all in preparation for the future when we do finally kick out the old generations and take our political power. If you spend the ages from 18 to 30 with your thumb up your ass, when you turn 30 and it's time to, you got to start a family, you got to take political power, the younger generations are starting to look to you as an adult for what to do. You need to be prepared. We all need to be prepared. So I'm making these positive changes to organize my life, to return to natural social hierarchy, to solidify my thoughts and feelings towards this movement. We need to be prepared, because if we're not, then the entire thing will collapse out underneath us. So let me reiterate. If you're between the ages of, let's say, 16 and 30, here's what you need to do. You need to read every single day at least 10 pages of some kind of political, religious, scientific literature. You need to be prepared if you're going to engage in politics or economics, you need to be prepared. You need to read the source material. If you're going into the biological side, you need to start reading into it. This is only going to solidify your points, because you can't go into an argument or a debate and not have any evidence to back up your claims. This is key when talking to your opposition. You need to also get your diet in check. Of course, we live in a world where there's an ever-looming threat of obesity and sort of the mind virus that comes with that. If you eat right, if you don't ingest so much sugar, if you're not constantly starving yourself for the key nutrients required for life, your mind suddenly clears. The fog of terrible diet lifts, and all of a sudden you feel better. You can interact with people easier. Thoughts come to you easier. Like I said, your mind clears of this fog. And if you're absorbing literature, you need to have a clear mind in order to fully retain it, fully analyze it, and then fully utilize this information to the best of your abilities. Not only that, but, if you feel better, you're more confident in yourself, you're more confident in your debate, and you look better, because optics are very important if you want to gain the support or mass appeal that you need to obtain political power. You have to look good. So if you're, some 40-year-old guy who's 500 pounds and balding, with, grease coming off his face, you're not going to be very appealing. No one's going to want to follow that person as a leader. You have to be fit. So obviously the next step is for everyone to lift. Go outside, exercise, do your cardio, drop those pounds, pick up something heavy, put it back down, do that 20 times, and eventually not only will you feel better, you'll have more strength, your self-worth will go up, your mind will be clear and focused, and you'll be prepared for the future. Then you need to understand what your natural talents are, what you're developing towards. If you're good with your hands, if you want to be a tradesman, or if you're an intellectual, or if you want to go into college and get some specialist degree, if you want to be a scientist of some kind, get yourself sorted out. Make a foundation, be productive, find some work that's useful for society, find what you're good at. Even in the online political realm, you need to find out what your task is. What are you good at? What can you contribute to the movement as a whole? Find out what your specialties are. If you can make music, make some alt-right music. I don't know, make some image macros, make some memes, do some videos like I'm doing here. Find out what you're good at. Find out what you can contribute to the movement. All right, so let's go over this one last time. First, we need self-improvement. We need discipline. We need to take care of our minds and bodies. We need to establish ourselves. We need to work on the family unit. We need to form a positive image for the movement. Secondly, we need to construct and maintain and improve the foundation of the movement. So we need to debate our detractors online. This is what Bloodsports is for. We need to use that to refine our positions and our arguments. And if we're wrong on something, we will find out and we will improve it. Secondly, we need to read and create literature about this. We need to not only study, but write our thoughts down on paper and improve them over time. We need to pass it amongst ourselves and say, hey, you over there, I disagree with your point. Can you prove me otherwise? And, kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And third, we need to find out what each of us can contribute to the movement. Are you an artist or an intellectual or a scientist? Come together and figure out what your strengths are and then apply it to this movement as a whole, because it's not just some political campaign, in a democracy. This is your people relying on you to take charge and do something for the future. This is your descendants as well are relying on you to get this shit sorted out so that they don't have to go through this as well. This is not just some selfish power grab. This is a movement designed to protect our people and secure an existence for our future. We have a long road ahead of us, no doubt, with many trials and tribulations that come before us. We can overcome this if we follow these steps and get ready and prepared for what's to come when it's our time to come into power, because there is a swing in the right wing. There is a swing towards our positions, and we can only strengthen and take this momentum and use it as the launching platform for our future. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments that you want to leave on this topic of the alt-right movement as a whole in these formative years, please leave me a comment, message me on Twitter, and thanks for watching.